guys, Movie Mechanic here. Just got back from seeing Maleficent. I am very of two minds about this movie. Uh, for what it is, it's decent. It's not terrible, it's not fantastic, but there are some very good elements to it. As a fan of the classic film, I have one response. Ah! Yeah. I mean, there are some elements they did really, really good. The costume design. Let me tell you what's good first. The costume design is amazing. Looks very much like the old animated film. Does things perfectly. Maleficent, for instance, looks just like you'd expect it to in real life. I really can't complain about that. The visuals of the film, fantastic. There are moments there that you just want to stand up and cheer, and they're just great. I mean, I won't ruin it for you, but there's one moment where there's like an explosion through a window, and it's just really great. I mean, you can tell this director worked in visual arts and has a very visual style of directing. The directing I have no problem with. My main problems with the movie come from the story. And the biggest problem with the story is that they are trying to justify evil. Now, if you had made this any other character other than Maleficent, if you had disacknowledged the original films, and if you had just said, okay, we're doing our own story, we're not using any names from the original film, I would say this is okay. But because you are tying it into the original Disney classic, it causes so many problems. This movie attempts to answer some of the questions you may have had from the first film, the original classic, and does a pretty decent job. Why doesn't Maleficent, being a fairy, have wings? There's an answer to that in this movie. Why is it that she has a vendetta against King Stefan and his family and all of this? In the original film, it was pretty much, you snubbed me and didn't invite me to the christening, but I think it was really just, I'm evil, I don't like you. It's not even, if she dies, or because the original was that she died. If she dies, I become, the queen of the empire. No, there was no possibility of that so far as we know in the original film. It's just, I'm evil, I don't like you, And I think that loses something by trying to put a motivation on it. I think this movie is trying to do for Maleficent what the story of Wicked does for the Wicked Witch of the West. Basically saying that there's no such thing as pure evil or real evil. There's always a motivation. People have a reason why they do things. Sometimes people just want to be evil. Sometimes people just like the idea that I'm ruining your day. People who make computer viruses are an excellent modern-day example of this. Most of the time, they don't really have a way of collecting the data that says, I messed up this on this guy's computer, and now because of that he can't do this or that. Most of the time, it's just to cause chaos. It's almost the Joker from the Dark Knight. Some people just want to watch the world burn. In this case, I think that's the same thing that Maleficent's motivation was in the original film. She just wants to watch the world burn. She just wants to cause chaos. She just wants to cause problems for this family. And she doesn't care who she hurts along the way because she is evil. In this movie, Maleficent, it was, nobody has any real evil in them. Nobody just wants to cause problems for you. It's, I need revenge. I'm not ruining anything if you've seen the trailer. It's all about revenge, and it justifies a lot of her motivations. One of the things I was kind of looking forward to recreate from the original film that didn't make it into the movie was the classic, to me, the quintessential Disney villain, possibly the quintessential villain line of all time, is, "Now you shall face me, O Prince, and all the powers of hell." That, to me, it is so good because, one, it's deliciously wicked, and it shows in the end that all the powers of hell could not stop the power of righteousness and truth and goodness. I love that. And because of the story they were telling, that line just wouldn't fit. So I'm kind of glad it just got left behind and it was part of the original film. And that's the nice thing about it. You cannot ever undo the original film. You'll never do better than the original film. Eleanor Audley was perfect as the voice of Maleficent. And I have to say, moving on to acting, she really, brought a lot of things to the character. She even brought pathos to the character, which, again, from the story that we were given, that's a good thing. From what Maleficent is supposed to be, it's a bad thing. Elle Fanning does a really good job as Princess Aurora. Again, here now, in the original film, admittedly, as a person who loves that movie, there's very little character to Aurora. She's basically just a damsel in distress. Here, Elle gives it a little bit more. She has a little bit more character, a little bit more of a story arc and everything like that. And she does a really good job of what she's given. She's going to be an amazing actress to watch as she matures and becomes a better performer. I adored her in Super 8. She was great in that. One of the confusing and baffling choices in this movie was to change the names of the fairies from Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather to other names. I can't even remember what they are. They were so unrememberable. I know one was Thistlewit. This was an odd choice. It didn't really bother me. It was just kind of, you've gone so far. You recreated the christening scene and so many other things from the original film. Why not just leave the names the same? Not a big deal, but just kind of a, what? Why is this? Why did you change this moment? The biggest problem I had with the fairies was they basically turned them into the Three Stooges. They had an element of that in the original film, which is fine, but at the same time they were just going from, slapstick to slapstick to slapstick. Where in the original film they had, they were, these goofy little old ladies and everything, but they had character. They were interesting, and they had, all these different, they could have all been the same character in this one. They were all virtually the same personality. If I were doing this movie and I were going to do that kind of a thing with them, I would have gone more off of the Hocus Pocus model from, Bette Midler and Kathy Najimy and Sarah Jessica Parker. That would have been a better way to go than what we actually got in this film, in consideration of all the problems I had with the story. One thing that really made me upset was, Maleficent, you have to have a dragon in there somewhere, because that's one of the iconic things from Maleficent and the original story is that there's a dragon. And I won't ruin for you exactly how the dragon comes about, but it really felt lame to me. It was just kind of... And then the dragon's cowed real quick. It was not even, all right, here comes the dragon, and then, no. So he's down real fast. The dragon is down real fast. So that was also another problem I had with the film. But overall, as a lover of the original film, I would say this is a hard D. It's really... there's a few things that it answers from the original movie that kind of got right. The majority of it undoes and did things in a wrong way so much from the original film. As a film unto itself, completely disacknowledging the original, I'd still only give it about a C, because while it was interesting, there were so many different directions they could have gone with this than what we actually got. I had many ideas for this film that I won't go into because I might use them some other time. But it was just like, you have the queen of evil, okay? Possibly the most evil character ever put on film, in my opinion. And you tried to justify her. You tried to make her almost a good guy. So, for me, this movie it fell on its face. It had so many things that it could have been, and then yet was not. So, for me, this is a C. Is it something you should go see? Yeah, if you like the classic film, you might be okay with it. I was So, go see it if you enjoy classic fairy tales, or the fairy tale retold, if you want, to believe that there's always a motivation for somebody, that, that nobody's truly evil, but sometimes there's evil in this world, and sometimes it has no other motivation than it likes to see harm done. Using my wrenches scale, it's a 3 out of 5. make it a 2.5 out of 5. Alright, until next time, this is the Movie Mechanic, and we'll see ya.
Your stupid minds! Stupid! Stupid!